So, I will present the empirical study that we conducted. First, I will explain the aims, the methodology, and the sample of the study. The study is focused on tracing the opinions, experiences, and attitudes of young Greek, Turkish, and Italian students towards the importance of the knowledge of history and the role of the subject of history for the development of a better society and for a creative return to the future. Specifically, participants are asked to assert their opinions on the importance of studying and knowing history, on their interest to study history, on the purpose of history, on the appropriateness of history as a school subject, on the context of the school books, on the possibility of the cultivation of hostility towards neighboring states, on the way they view their neighbors. Furthermore, a crucial part of the study involves the association of the results with the individual's ethnicity. Lastly, Greek students are asked to assert their opinion on the way the anniversary of the liberation of Thessaloniki from the Turkish occupation should be celebrated, and the way Turkish residents of Thessaloniki should be treated after the liberation. For the collection of data, survey research with the questionnaire as a methodological tool was conducted. The research was based on a sample of 228 subjects, 36.8 of which were Greeks, 36.8 Turks, and 26.3 Italians. Regarding gender, 39.5% of those who answered the questionnaire were males and 60.5 females. Regarding age, 16.7 were 16 years old, 50% were 17 to 18 years old, 28.7% were 19 to 20 years old, and 4.8% were more than 20 years old. So, as far as the results are concerned, the importance of studying and knowing history has been satisfactorily comprehended by the participants of the research. Just to explain, there was a scale, a Likert scale, from 1 to 5. 1 was none, not at all, and 5 was very much. This picture shows the general mean and the mean for Greeks, Turks, and Italians as well. And after all, the statistics, if the numbers were statistically significant. So, the importance of studying and knowing history has been satisfactorily comprehended by the participants of the research. However, Turks seem to display even more certainty from the Greeks and especially from the Italians. Students' interest in the history both of their local homeland and Europe is quite low. Equally low is their interest in the history of the world, except Europe, finding which concerns especially the Turks and less the Italians. On the contrary, their interest in the history of the country is high, and this is true particularly for the Turks and less for the Italians. Participants, and among them especially the Turks, tend to attribute the purpose of the study of history mainly in the better understanding of the present. However, many of them seem to also recognize the knowledge of the past and the orientation for the future and its purpose. As far as the meaning of history is concerned, students do not espouse the view that it is something dead which has no relation to present time, or it is an accumulation of atrocities and disasters, or it is a school lesson and nothing more. Turks are more opposed to this view, whereas Greeks more supportive. Students also do not seem to strongly support the view of history neither as a source of adventure, excitement and fantasy, nor as a source which provides instructive paradigms of what is right or wrong, good or bad. The latter is only adequately supported by the Greeks. History is mainly appreciated as a presupposition to better understand who we are, as an assistance in solving current problems, and above all, as an opportunity to learn from the mistakes and successes of others. All three approaches are espoused mostly by the Turks. The assessment of participants on the indispensability of history as a school subject in the curriculum was surveyed. The majority of them believe that history should be taught compulsory both in elementary and in high school. The percentage is significantly higher for the Italians, 88.3%, and lower for the Greeks. Only a negligible percent shares a totally different opinion that history should not be taught at all. 13.2% of the sample responds that history should be taught only in elementary school, percentage that is double for the Greeks, and approximately the same percentage as urged that it should be taught only in high school. Greeks and Turks' beliefs about the policy of cultivating hostility towards neighboring states in the school history books are examined. Greeks tend to believe that such policy exists mostly towards Turkey, afterwards towards Fyrom and Bulgaria, and lastly towards Albania and Italy. Turks assess that the context of history school books contain material which is hostile especially against Armenia and Greece, and afterwards by far against Syria, Iran, Bulgaria and Iraq. Afterwards, the research focused on the way Greeks and Turks view each other, on the way they comprehend and designate their relation. Greek students, in 35%, maintain that Turks were and remain enemies, whereas only 6.1% of the Turkish students characterize Greeks as enemies. Both Greeks and Turkish participants in the same percentage, 31%, although they admit that they don't like each other, they simultaneously judge that it is for everyone's good to get along. In this percentage, 61% of the Greeks and 92.8% of the Turks agree that attention should not be paid to the differences of the past, but only to points that unite both countries towards a better future. Besides, the majority of Greeks and Turks attribute the troubled relations to the official policies of the states and not to the citizens of the countries. Lastly, 42.9% of the Greek students assert that the existence of a serious differentiation in mentality and culture between the two countries, which makes their coexistence impossible. This percentage decreases to 13.4% for the Turks. Participants' approaches to the context of history school books is then examined. Both Greek and Turkish students almost similarly espouse the view that in the history school books, events of intensity which shook the relationships between neighboring countries should be included. However, Greeks seem to be skeptical about having their history as a whole be praised in school books to enhance their morale and their love for their country. Turks tend to display their disagreement to this practice, logic and orientation. Greek and Turkish students even more strongly agree that mistakes or unfortunate moments in their history should be mentioned in the school books. Lastly, Greek students were asked to assert their opinion on the way the anniversary of the liberation of Thessaloniki from the Turkish were asked to assert their opinion on the way the anniversary of the liberation of Thessaloniki from the Turkish occupation should be celebrated and on the way Turkish residents of Thessaloniki should be treated after the liberation. No one shares the opinion that the liberation of Thessaloniki should be not celebrated at all. 73.2% believes that it should be celebrated with brilliant events, and 47% with discretion. The vast majority of Greek participants disagrees with the imprisonment of the Turkish residents of Thessaloniki after its liberation. However, a remarkable percentage agrees with their deportation from Thessaloniki. A limited percentage believes that Turks should be either remain in Thessaloniki but with limited rights, or remain in Thessaloniki but with their property being confiscated, or remain in Thessaloniki only those who Greeks would judge that they are useful to Greek society. From the displayed results, interesting conclusions emerge with respect to the main areas of the surveys concerned. Along general lines, the necessity and importance of studying history seems to be satisfactorily comprehended by the participants, whom their special interest lies mainly on the study of their country and less of their homeland. History is highly appreciated as an opportunity to learn from the mistakes and successes of others. As far as the relation between Greeks and Turks is concerned, the majority of the former and the vast majority of the latter do not perceive each other as enemies, even though a policy of cultivating hostility towards these neighboring countries in the school history books is discerned by them. Greek students realize the importance of the liberation of Thessaloniki, and as a result, they anticipate that the anniversary should be celebrated with brilliant events. It is, however, quite worrying that only half of them believe that Turks should remain in Thessaloniki with equal rights. Thank you very much.